Let me tell you something you probably won't hear from anyone wearing a $1,000 suit. Your whole life can spin on the words of a stranger, sometimes the smallest, most unlikely person in the room. I learned that the hard way. One brutal July afternoon, the sun was punishing the highway, turning the pavement into a skillet and the air to soup. I was there, behind the wheel of my cherry red coupe, custom paint, luxury everything, the kind of car people crane their necks for. I just pulled up to a beat-up little gas stop in the middle of nowhere, annoyed because my phone had 0 bars and the place looked like it hadn't seen a real customer since Reagan. I kept thinking, this is ridiculous. If I'd just flown, I'd already be in a meeting, not sweating like a farmhand and staring at the tumbleweeds. You know what I mean. So I get out, fixing my jacket, already rehearsing the angry call I'll give my assistant later. That's when I notice a little kid across the road, just a wisp of a boy, maybe 6, barefoot, skin cracked from the heat, shirt so stained you'd never know what color it started as. At first, I ignore him. I'm busy. I have problems rich people pay lawyers to fix. But he's staring at my car like he knows a secret, like he's weighing whether to approach a hungry dog. Right then, I'm opening my trunk when I hear soft footsteps behind me. I spin, ready to snap at whoever it is, and there's this tiny, filthy kid, hands locked together, eyes wide as dinner plates, voice trembling, "Sir, your car's going to explode. Please, don't drive it." Yeah, that happened. I stare at him, halfway between laughing and shouting. "What?" He glances down, then back up, voice cracking. "I saw 2 men. They did something underneath. They said, the car will light up after a mile." I'm looking around, thinking, okay, who put this kid up to this? Is this some scam? Am I about to get pickpocketed while he distracts me? So I ask, "Where's your gang? You trying to hustle me?" But the boy just stands there, shaking, eyes shiny with tears, whispering, "I swear, I didn't want you to get hurt." Now, I've seen every trick in the book, grew up watching people hustle for a living, climbed every rung myself. And here's this kid, telling me something out of a bad movie. I walk around the car, squat down, look for damage, nothing but a bit of oil near the rear wheel. I scoff, brush it off as nothing. "Tell your friends," I say, "the rich guy's not falling for it." He pleads one more time, "Sir, please, don't go yet." But I'm done. I get in, slam the door, punch the gas, tires squealing as I peel out, pride burning hotter than the asphalt. In the rearview mirror, I see him, hands pressed together, just watching, silent, as my car disappears into the shimmering heat. A couple hours crawl by. The heat breaks, the wind shifts, the day stretches itself long and thin. That kid, he doesn't move, just sits behind a tree stump, as never leaving the empty road. Must have wondered if he'd done enough, if he should have run after me, shouted louder. But nobody came back for him, not until an old pickup truck screeched into the lot, the driver yelling into his phone about a fire. "You see the news? That red sports car exploded outside the hospital. Blew up after leaking fuel the whole way down Route 10. I bet the kid's heart stopped cold. Hospital. Red car. Explosion." That's all he heard. He staggers over to the fuel station, workers glued to a fuzzy TV up in the corner. On the screen, a newscaster is describing a miracle luxury car burst into flames at Crescent Hills Medical. Driver stepped out just minutes before, sick to his stomach, lucky to be alive. They show a photo, my car, or what's left of it, twisted and charred. The boy's knees give out. Maybe he feels relief, maybe guilt, maybe both. He tried, you know? He did everything a 6-year-old can. But here's the twist. While he's kneeling in gravel, I'm watching the same news from a hospital bed, hooked up to tubes, shirtless under a thin blanket. Arrogance burned right off my face. My assistant is white as a sheet, repeating what the mechanic told her. Someone had sabotaged the fuel line. The car was meant to blow once the engine got hot enough. And if I hadn't stopped, if I hadn't felt sick, I'd be dead. All I can think about isn't the men who tried to kill me or the money lost, but that kid, the kid I brushed off, the one who tried to warn me. I tell the nurse I have to go back. The road, the gas station, the boy, he saved my life. And I know I have to find him, no matter what. Next morning, I show up again, but I'm not Victor Langston, the real estate mogul now. I'm just a guy in jeans, left arm bandaged, humility heavier than my steps. I ask everyone, the station manager, an old woman sweeping her porch, A guy selling peaches out of his truck. Nobody knows his name. He's around sometimes, digs for food, doesn't talk much. I keep searching, desperate, down past the sheds, behind broken fences and trash heaps, and then I see him curled up behind a shack, asleep on a bed of cardboard, still in that same filthy shirt, arms wrapped tight around his skinny frame. I kneel down. "Hey," I say, and he startles awake, backing away, whispering, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to lie." I shake my head. "You didn't lie. I didn't listen." He goes quiet. I take my watch, battered, scorched, probably worth a year of groceries to him, and lay it in front of him. "I want you to have this. It's broken, just like I would have been without you." The boy looks down, doesn't speak. I sit beside him. "I was wrong about you, about everything. I thought you were working a scam, but you were saving me." He's crying now, wiping his face with the back of his hand. "Where's home?" I ask, even though I know the answer. He just shakes his head. "Nowhere." I let it sit. Then, "Will you come with me? Not because you owe me, because I owe you. You changed my story. Maybe I can change yours." His eyes say everything. He nods, slow, like he can't quite believe it's real. Months go by. The city lights gleam off clean glass. That same boy, clean, hair combed, wearing a little bow tie, stands beside me as I fuss over his collar. "Ready for school?" I ask, and he grins, big as all outdoors, hope beaming from him. We step outside together, and I tell him, "You were right. Not just about the car, about people. Even when no one listens, speak up. You never know whose life you'll save." Now, if this story got you thinking, if you've ever ignored a warning or misjudged a stranger, let's hear it. Was I in the wrong for not believing him? What would you have done? Share your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you felt something, and subscribe for more stories that prove even the smallest voice can change the end of someone's story. Stay kind, stay sharp, and keep listening. Sometimes the world's best advice comes from the last person you expect. If you told me months ago that a single moment on a dusty road could flip my world upside down, I'd have called you crazy. But life, as I'm learning, doesn't give a damn about your plans or your pride. Sometimes it just hands you a new story and dares you to live it. So here we are, me and that same kid, who now answers to the name Eli, my doing, since he never had one he wanted to keep. We live together in an apartment that doesn't have marble floors or city views, but for the first time, I think it actually feels like home. There's something about making breakfast for a kid who can't stop grinning at toast that makes a penthouse feel empty in comparison. You know, Eli started school, and every morning's a battle, him insisting he doesn't need lunch money. Me insisting he at least take an apple. He's smart, sharp as a tack, picks up on things most grown men miss. Still, the first weeks are rough. Other kids give him side-eye for his old shoes. The teachers don't quite know what to do with a boy who doesn't speak unless it matters. Sometimes I worry he'll never fit in. Sometimes I see him standing alone at pickup, staring at the ground. But he keeps showing up, keeps trying. That's courage you can't teach. Now, here's where things get real. One Friday afternoon, I get a call from the school. There's been an incident. My heart drops. I imagine the worst. But when I get there, I find Eli in the principal's office, arms crossed, chin up, looking every bit like he's about to take on the world. Turns out, some kid called him a beggar in front of everyone, tried to shove him. But Eli didn't throw a punch. He just stood there, calm as ever, and told the whole class, "You can call me what you want, but I saved a man's life once." "What have you done?" "Yeah, that happened." The room went silent. Even the teacher looked like she'd swallowed her gum. That moment starts something. Word spreads. The kids who once avoided Eli now want to sit with him at lunch, ask him about the exploding car. One kid, Lucas, comes up and says his dad saw Eli on the news months back, called him a hero. Next thing I know, they're thick as thieves, talking about everything from comic books to fixing up old bikes. It's like watching someone learn to breathe after holding it in for too long. Meanwhile, I find myself changed in ways I never saw coming. My work life, which used to be all numbers and deals, suddenly seems hollow. I start spending afternoons at Eli's school, volunteering, getting to know other kids who slip through the cracks. I meet parents who are struggling, teachers who are burned out but still trying. The world opens up, messy and imperfect, but somehow more real than it's ever felt. Then comes the twist, an envelope in the mail, no return address. Inside, a faded photograph, and a handwritten note. Thank you for believing a kid nobody else would. The photo is of two men, the same ones Eli saw under my car, now mugshots from a police report. Turns out, someone else at the gas station saw them too, remembered the car, called it in. The cops tracked them down. They've been sabotaging vehicles along the highway for months, targeting wealthy travelers for ransom. My story, Eli's story, became the thread that unraveled the whole thing. Eli reads the letter 3 times before looking up at me, eyes wide. Do you think that's really why I was meant to be there? He asks. I don't have a good answer. Just ruffle his hair and tell him. Sometimes the world lines up just right for one person to make all the difference. He seems to understand, but it's not all sunshine. There are setbacks, nights Eli wakes up crying from nightmares, days he gets quiet and withdrawn, memories too heavy to share. And I have my own battles, doubts about whether I'm cut out to be someone's parent, fears I'll mess this up worse than anyone before me. But every morning, we start again. He pours cereal, I pack lunches, we talk about the weird dreams we had. Life, in all its ordinary glory, keeps moving. The real climax sneaks up on us one weekend when Eli's school holds an assembly about community heroes. They ask Eli to speak. He panics, wants nothing to do with standing on a stage. But the night before, as we sit on the couch, he looks at me and says, "Do you think people will listen this time?" I tell him, "You have a story worth hearing. Tell it your way." So he does. He stands up there, voice shaking, but he tells the truth about being scared, about speaking up when it mattered, about second chances. The applause is thunderous. Parents cry. Even the principal, tough as old boots, wipes away a tear. That moment, seeing Eli stand tall, proud of who he is, not what he's been through, hits harder than any business one I've ever had. And that, right there, is what I wish everyone could feel. Redemption, not just for one mistake, but for a lifetime of shutting out what matters. Eli changed my life by saving it, but even more by showing me what it means to pay attention, to give a damn, to let go of old stories so new ones can begin. So, let me ask you, if you were given a second chance, would you take it? Have you ever misjudged someone who later surprised you? Maybe even saved you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you want more stories that hit a little too close to home. And remember, sometimes the smallest voice in the room carries the biggest truth. Stay curious, stay kind, and don't let the noise drown out what really matters.